conversation because I'm going to be doing the Feeling Festive tag, and it just felt like I wanted to be in front of my Christmas books, which I have moved to the dresser in my bedroom. I love to wake up and see all of them waiting for me there. And it is a mixture of Cloak and Dagger Christmas picks and then anything Christmassy. So I just have such a fire burning in me to get to these Christmassy books, and I thought it would be fun to be sitting with all of them for the Feeling Festive tag. The original one was created by Liv, and I will link it down below. It's a lovely selection of questions of just the things that you love in this season. And so the first one is Festive Favorites, or the first section is Festive Favorites. And question one is favorite Christmas movie. So the two or three that I have for kind of tied for my favorites, these would be the very top ranking. If I could only watch these, if I only had time for a few in a season, these are the ones I would pick. One is It's a Wonderful Life, which I would say is a fabulous movie that happens to be set at Christmas. My husband has pointed out, there's not actually a ton of Christmas in it, but since I've grown up watching it at Christmas time, and there are some Christmassy bits, and it ends with them all singing Auld Lang Syne together, which I get emotional just thinking about it. I cry so much as I watch that movie. We regularly quote it. It is just such a beautiful, beautiful film, and I just adore Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed together in it. The next one is The Muppets Christmas Carol. This is the one that I'm the most nostalgic about because I'm not sure how young I was when I would have watched It's a Wonderful Life, but I just, for as long as I can remember, my siblings and I would actually watch it every Christmas Eve. I think our main motivation for that was the song Only One More Sleep Till Christmas that Kermit the Frog sings. And it's just got some amazing acting, and Michael Caine as Scrooge is just, I feel like, didn't get enough accolades for the amazing acting he does in it. But I know a lot of people who it's still their favorite, and there's lines that still make me laugh. And it's another one that I quote regularly. And then lastly is The Santa Claus and the Santa Claus 2. Not so much the third. I think the third one went off the rails, although I know there's a new series that's on Disney Plus. I don't have Disney Plus. I'm not motivated to get it, so I don't know when I'll watch it. But the first two, interestingly, I saw the second one first when I was in high school when it came out. And then I think the next year my dad got on DVD The Santa Claus. And I just fell in love with them. I've always found Tim Allen so funny, and I love the idea of kind of this jaded, sarcastic man against his will becoming Santa. And I think it's such an interesting concept, and there's a lot of just great humor in there, and especially because, Scott Calvin's ex-wife, Laura, her husband, Neil and Scott are just oil and water, and to see those two personalities, and I think the romance with Carol in the second one is really, really sweet, and yes, so I love those. Now, two that are recent favorites. Last year, my friend Melissa, which I will link her channel down below, and she has actually just put up, at the time that I'm filming this, a video on her favorite Christmas movies. She recommended to me Remember the Night, and it is with Barbara Stanwyck, and then I can't remember his name. What's interesting is I typically don't like Barbara Stanwyck, but in this movie, for some reason, I was just really liked her performance in it, and it's about a woman who basically has no one to spend Christmas with, and she ends up spending it with a total stranger and his family, and it's just taken in by them wholeheartedly, and what a just kind of life-changing experience it is for her to be with them. And it's just such a moving film, and it's got a really beautiful scene that will always stick with me, where they sing a song called The Perfect Day, and it's just very fun and family-filled. I love Christmas movies where it's just full of people in relationship with one another. And that's, what I love in books regularly, but I really want that at Christmas time. And so that's why movies like The Polar Express just feel so lonely to me and are so different than what I long for in movies and books about Christmas. So I was really pleased to find an older, Christmas film that I could enjoy. And then one that I just watched last night as I was setting up the Christmas tree and putting up our paper chain is It Happened on Fifth Avenue. This is one that I wasn't that impressed with the first time I watched it. I knew it's my uncle's favorite Christmas movie, and so I just bought it. I hadn't watched it, and so I watched it maybe 5 years ago, and just felt so about it. I thought it wasn't Christmassy enough, and was just kind of, I don't know what my expectations were. But I watched it last night, and it was like all of a sudden my love for it clicked, and it does have more Christmas than I thought it did the first time around. And also, it's just such an interesting plot in that there are these two guys who are squatters in this old mansion that isn't used in the winter. And the daughter of the family, who's very well to do, shows up at the mansion, but she keeps her identity hidden and starts to fall in love with one of the guys who's a squatter. And so goes to her father, was like, listen, I want you to meet him because I think he's the one. But he can't know who you are. So then her father like dresses down. And so they're all spending time in this house together, and not everyone's identity is revealed. Sometimes plots hit, where the crux is hinging on a secret can really, I struggle with those. But for some reason, since kind of not the underdog, but the overdog, I guess, is in on the secret, like there aren't going to be huge consequences. So it feels very safe. So charming, and some really beautiful music in that one as well. And then I just have to talk about two more. One that's become a favorite in recent years is Holiday Affair with Janet Leigh. And I just think she is so captivating to watch on screen. And before, the only thing I had seen her in was Psycho. And I watched Psycho once and knew I was never watching it again. It creeped me out so much. So it's lovely to find a Christmassy movie that she is in. And this is one that has a lot of Christmas happening in it. And I love that. And it's just got a very sweet romance to it. What's interesting is I actually grew up with the 90s remake of it, and I never liked it. My younger sister really liked it, but I was never taken with it. And then, just a few years ago, because I bought a DVD that contained 4 holiday movies. One was It Happened on Fifth Avenue. That's why I bought it. And then I watched Holiday Affair, and I loved it. So I've got a new favorite movie out of it. And yeah, it's just altogether delightful. And then lastly, one that is not super Christmassy, but there is enough Christmas in it that it totally qualifies, is The Shop Around the Corner, which is the original You've Got Mail. And it has the best dialogue. It feels kind of like Jane Austen level with its dialogue, and it's witty and sharp, and but also sweet and warm. It's got such an interesting cast of characters, and it's altogether delightful. I mean, Jimmy Stewart, I just adore him. So very much looking forward to rewatching that this year. And then number 2 is favorite Christmas song. So I'm going to list these and then link down below my favorite rendition of these. The first is Merry Christmas Darling by the Carpenters, a very romantic Christmas song, and it just has such a warm, sentimental quality to it. And then When a Child is Born by The Seekers. The main reason why I love it is Judith, I can't remember her last name, but the lead singer of The Seekers, her voice is so beautiful, and I love the hope that is just kind of, what do I want to say? The hopeful atmosphere you can sense in the song. The next one is In the Bleak Midwinter. This is based on a Christina Rossetti poem. And I love the David Archuleta version. He had a Christmas album come out a few years ago, and this is on there, and it's beautiful. Then an Advent hymn that I only heard for the first time last year, and it is Lo, He Comes with Clouds Ascending, which I kind of sounds like an Easter one, but I guess, maybe it's talking about him coming down before the incarnation. I'm not quite sure. The words are so beautiful, and I love the tune. There's a couple tunes to it, but I will make sure to link the one with the tune that I love. Then Lo, How a Rose Ere Blooming. This has some passages that will take your breath away with the poignancy of them. And I love the kind of minor key and very sober, powerful feel to it. It's just packed with meaning. Next is Come Thou Long Expected Jesus. This is a wonderful Advent one. Just that sense of desperate anticipation and need. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful hymn for Advent. And then another one is Once in Royal David City. And this one just, again, has some really powerful words to it. And it's wonderful to be able to be on the shoulders of giants, as the phrase goes, and have the wisdom from people in the past, about this anticipation up before Christmas. Okay, favorite Christmas television. This was a fun one to think about. And the first one is the Call the Midwife Christmas specials. Every single season they have a Christmas special and they are always amazing. I will tell you, they are very bittersweet. You are on an emotional roller coaster. There's some things that are very, very sad that happen in them, but they always end on such a Christmassy note. And it's kind of the magic of Christmas. And they're just really beautiful. And the next one is the Charlie Brown Christmas. I mean, it's only like a half hour long, so it's really easy to watch this every year. And I just find the character of Charlie Brown so endearing. I always want to give him a hug when he's having a hard day. The next one is the Vicar of Dibley Christmas specials. I think there are several Christmas specials, and there's nothing like a Vicar of Dibley Christmas. Sometimes the irreverent humor, it's just very cavalier and it can grate on me, but there's so much charm in the episodes that I'm kind of willing to forgive them that. So I just love the quirky cast of characters in the Vicar of Dibley. Then The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding, the David Suchet Poirot adaptation. I love all of the, the Christmas party aspect of this, and it's just very festive feeling, and everything that's a mystery in it is very low key. I also love Inspector Japp really not wanting to have to stay with his Welsh family because that would mean having to sing Christmas carols together. I love how high stakes he is about that. So very amusing to me. And then the Andy Griffith Show has, I think it's only one Christmas episode, and the one that I saw is where there is a guy who's going to be all alone on Christmas. And so he keeps trying to break the law enough that they will let him come to the Christmas party that Andy and Barney are holding because they're on duty on Christmas Eve. So they're holding a party at the jail. But they keep trying to let him off because they're like, well, it's Christmas, we'll be generous. So it's a really sweet episode. I love that. And then one that is not, might be surprising, it's not my typical kind of show, but the series Lost, it came out while I was in high school and then early into college, is about this plane that crashes and they all end up on this island and they have to figure out how to survive on the island. Will they ever be rescued? They're not sure. It's very dramatic and suspenseful. There's one episode, though, called The Constant. That is a total spoiler. There's really not much I can say to you, except that it is such a moving scene, and I had no idea kind of that things were going to resolve the way they did in that episode, and kind of characters that you've been rooting for so long finally having a little bit of hope, and it's so beautiful. So yeah, highly recommend. If you like Lost, if you want a very dramatic show, then I think it's in season 4, The Constant, but you have to build your way up to that episode. Okay, favorite Christmas book. So I have had several videos with my Christmas reading recommendations coming out. I think my top 2, though, are going to be A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It is such a just genius idea for a plot. And it's so interesting because, Christmas, past, present, and future, you're getting a look at his life, so you're getting this full character. But it also feels eventful, even though it's stuff that's not actually happening. And it's written so beautifully, and it's such a moving story. But I haven't actually, I don't think I'm going to read it this year because I didn't quite feel like doing it, and I don't want it to lose its allure. So I think next year I will read it again and read it with the boys. I've never read it with Peter, so that would be exciting. And then Miss Read's Christmas books, The Christmas Mouse and No Holly for Miss Quinn. I love how short and sweet they are, but you still feel kind of the completeness of a story. I think novellas work really well for Christmas time because I know of several where the author is just able to put a really compelling Christmas story in maybe 150 pages, and it works really well. So I love short little Christmas books that you can pick up like that. The next question is favorite Christmas season snack. So sadly, lately, hot cocoa has not been agreeing with me. I make it dairy-free and everything, but I get really bad stomach aches. So I was very sad about that because I wanted a warm, sweet drink to enjoy in the season. And a couple turn of events that have been very exciting. One is, it finally occurred to me, what if I warmed up almond milk and put honey and cinnamon in it? And it is so satisfying and rich and creamy. And I am surprised at just how yummy it is because it sounds a little bland, but it works very well. And then just last night, I tried for the first time some oat milk eggnog, and it is amazingly delicious. I sprinkled a little nutmeg on top. I had actually never tried nutmeg on eggnog, and I don't usually have eggnog that much. I've never been a huge fan, but maybe it's the eggnog or maybe the oat nog I just prefer. I don't know, but I loved it while we decorated the tree last night, and I'm very excited to continue enjoying that throughout the season. I actually was thinking I want to go ahead and maybe buy a couple more containers. I got it from Aldi, and I know it says, limited batch. They're not going to be selling it for long, and so I would like to have a couple more just to save throughout the season, because it doesn't expire until like March of next year. So I can enjoy it slowly. Then the next one, and lastly, I would like to say I do love mint chocolate chip or mint chocolate M&Ms. Those always come out around Christmas, and they're in different shades of green, and I think some white ones in there, and I just love mint and chocolate together. It works really well. Although I also did see this recipe for brownies where then you do like a mint cream on top of that and then a chocolate layer on top of that. And I thought, I will have to try making that sometime, and it just sounds so good. Favorite Christmas Day food. So Christmas breakfast with my family has always been like a sausage and egg and cheese casserole. I think unfortunately I'm going to have to say no to it this year, because it's not like I would feel kind of lousy just after eating it. It's that it takes several days for me to start feeling not lousy after eating something like that. So I really pay for it. So I won't be having that, but I think I can have the sticky buns that we always have, and they're really, really good. You bake these buns over the kind of caramel toffee layer, and then when they're done, you flip them, and so they're just oozing with sticky goodness and very yummy. And then also, I love Oreo truffles. They are just Oreos mixed with cream cheese, and they're so good. And then rolled in dark chocolate. They're so decadent though. You usually have like one. And then molasses crinkles, my absolute favorite Christmas cookie. I love molasses crinkles. I just love them. Okay, then the next one, favorite Christmas decoration. So I will put in some pictures here. We have two nativity scenes. One is that Peter made a Lego nativity scene, and I am so impressed with his creativity. I just thought he did such a wonderful job. And then the other one we picked out in Target, and I couldn't believe how elegant this nativity scene looked, and I was so pleased at what they picked. I said they could pick out one decoration this year, and so they picked the nativity scene, and I was shocked at what a nice nativity scene Target had for sale. The next one is, what is your favorite part of Christmas? And I honestly enjoy the anticipation of Christmas more than Christmas Day. I love the build up to it. I'm such a homebody, right? I love being cozy at home, watching a wonderful Christmas movie with the Christmas tree lights on. I love reading a wonderful mystery, or because now that's Christmassy to me because of Cloak and Dagger Christmas, reading cozy mysteries or a Christmassy book, and having on there are these wonderful Hogwarts common rooms, ASMR rooms, but they're at Christmas. And so it's all warm music and just very Christmassy sounding. And there's one for each common room, each house. So I will link them all down below, because if you are an ASMR room person, if you like having music on while you read, you're not going to want to miss out on these. And it's nice because they show you different parts of the houses. And I love, a couple of years ago I did this. I don't think I remembered to do it last year, but got the boys in the car and gave them each a blanket for their lap, so they were super cozy, and we drove around and looked at Christmas lights. And I think I even had a blanket on my lap, and blankets just make everything kind of 100 times cozier. So I definitely want to do that again this year, multiple times even, because it's so fun just to see the lengths that people go to with their Christmas lights. Then also, I loved celebrating Epiphany last year. Christmas doesn't start actually until December the 25th. Before that is all Advent, and the 12 days of Christmas, start at Christmas and go through January 6th. And so I loved having this sense of anticipation after the big Christmas day that, things weren't all over. And I also loved, while I was getting pies ready and baking and getting meals prepped, watching Shadowlands, which is a movie about C.S. Lewis' marriage to Joy. And it is kind of sad movie. Because, his wife passed away not long after they were married. He knew she was terminally ill when they got married. But it's so beautiful and moving. And I personally love having a good cry while I watch something. It's just very wintry feeling to me. The kind of, academia setting. And also there are some wonderful Christmas scenes in it. And so if you're in the mood to watch something that will make you cry, but it's very moving and it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. And then tell us about your favorite Christmas tradition that you and your family have, either on Christmas Day or as part of the season. I feel like I just addressed a lot of it. The other one is that my parents always give us a book on Christmas Eve. And it used to be a book and pajamas, but as we got older, they have now started giving pajamas to the grandchildren. So it's just really fun to have wondering, what book am I going to get this year? And my dad always puts so much thought into it. And he's always excited too to then be thinking about what book for each grandchild. And I love that tradition. And there is the Icelandic tradition that takes it even a step further where you each get a book and then you read for the rest of the night. That would be a dream come true to me. But I don't think that's happening anytime very soon. Any new traditions you would like to start? If you've already tried starting one, how is it going? So I guess I would just like to make a bigger deal out of the 12 days of Christmas. This year, I do have kind of a few little festive things for each day happening throughout the 12 days of Christmas. And whether it involves watching a short little movie, or I thought one day we could have an Uno tournament and see who won the most times. Then we'll have an Epiphany feast to celebrate the 12th day of Christmas. So I would just like to have, steadily enjoy Christmastide throughout the full 12 days. The next one is giving and receiving. What is the most memorable gift you've ever been given, good, bad, or for any other reason? So I wanted to show you. And whenever I show these in videos, I get comments asking, where... Goodness, it's heavy. Okay, which set this is, where did I get it? So this is the heirloom Jane Austen set, and I'm pretty sure I cried when I got it. I put it on my Christmas list, and I was not expecting somebody to splurge on me, and then my in-laws gave it to me. So it's, hold on. I have to arrange them so they don't fall off my lap, because I want to show you better. Now, I will say, before you're like, oh, I want to buy that, it's out of print. They only had it in print for a couple years, which is crazy to me, because I know so many people who would be interested in it. So yes, here's Pride and Prejudice, and I love Jackie Oakley is the illustrator. And if you have seen any of the source books, Anne of Green Gables series, or other Ellen Montgomery standalones that they sell, her illustrations are the covers for those, and they are so beautiful. And then here is Pemberley. And then here is Northanger Abbey, which I feel like the Northanger Abbey illustrations are not quite as cool as they could be. There could be some really, atmospheric Gothic ones, like for Kathy's imagining things, or Catherine, I guess. There's some cute dogs, but I was a bit underwhelmed. But yeah, it just looks kind of generic. But it's still a beautiful edition. I love that they all have ribbon bookmarks. Then this one includes Persuasion and Lady Susan. And there's one Persuasion illustration that I just absolutely have to show you. Here it is. I love this one. I think it's so beautiful. Okay. Then Emma. There's some great ones in Emma. Let's see. Should I show you this one? Just trying to pick just the right one. Is this Box Hill? Here's Box Hill. I love that. It's very autumnal looking, which I generally think of Emma as kind of like springtime, but I know it goes through all the seasons. That's one that does go through all the seasons. Here's Mansfield Park. That's just a drawing room. I want to show you something kind of more exciting. Oh, this is really beautiful. The moonlight. And then lastly is Sense and Sensibility. This is a beautiful one. So yes, that is definitely the most excited I've ever been about a gift. And I love having it. I do have the box somewhere, but I like seeing them out of it, so I don't keep them in the box. They're the slip case, whatever it is. Then the next one is, have you ever re-gifted something at Christmas that you've been given during the year? And I don't know if I have. Like I've given used books before, but like books that I ordered. I don't think I have. It's possible that I have, but nothing comes to my memory. The next one is, do you prefer lots of little presents or one big one? And I would say lots of little ones because it's 90% books that I have on my Christmas list. So generally, unless it's some elaborate first edition or rare used book, they're not going to cost a lot. And so, yeah, I'd say lots of little ones, AKA lots of books. The next question is, what are you most excited about for Christmas this year? All of the usual things, like I said, the books, the music. I love Christmas caroling in church. So not singing Christmas carols in church. And then I think I don't have to travel for Christmas this year. And I am so over the moon about that. So yeah, that's the big one for me. That is the Feeling Festive tag. If you would like to do this, if you're so inclined, please go right ahead. And I would love to hear what other people have to say as their answers for this. And I hope you're all having the most wonderful Christmas season. You're having a great December with your reading. If you're participating in Cloak and Dagger Christmas, that you're reading some wonderful mysteries. And I will be back with another video soon. Bye.